mainly because it's kind of a small network of people. I mean, I know it's huge, right? But it's like you have to be associated with the automotive industry to want to get in. And I know your ambition is with Traction Labs is broader than that, right? I mean, mobility is kind of one segment, but it's really larger.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking about it, and what was interesting to me, like you kind of gravitated towards Power Lunch. That to me is a much more interesting concept than the Automotive Mobility Forum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that weekly on Thursday or whatever, it's automotive focused.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't need to be every single day, but making the thing more of, hey, I go to Power Lunch because we talk about topics in this manner. And yep, Thursday's automotive day, so I go Thursdays and you go, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it as like much more cohesive. And then cool, segment the day. There's no problem. That's great. Segment the day. But then other people that are coming to the automotive, they may spill over into these other days. And the people that are coming to the other days may spill over in automotive. And that is really where you drive value, is where you get people that are coming into an automotive thing that don't know shit about automotive. And now you're the connector. And that's the power. The power is in the fact that you've brought these disparate people together in your forum. Where else are they going to go? They can't go anywhere else because they can't get that anywhere else. So that's the concept that I'm playing with of thinking about how do you, rather than thinking about doing two things, like because you were talking about doing a show that's kind of all the other stuff and then automotive, do one thing and just segment a piece and say this piece is automotive, and actually make the sales network much larger, but only segment it down for that specific segment.
Let me ask you a question. Why did you, the minute I said, hey, listen, I love the idea of a Power Lunch, that's
because
why
I've been thinking about it, because this is content. Like we can discuss and have an opposing viewpoint that's interesting, engaging. If we had a third person in, there'd be a third opinion. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it on this stupid topic.
Yeah, but why did you want to immediately record it, Matt? Because you came up with the idea and you wanted
because
to
I want to send it back to you, and I want you to see if it's engaging and entertaining. And if it's something that you would watch. I mean, I could stop recording it now that you've. It's more about.
I just wanted to know. No. It's not about stopping recording. So here's the deal. Two things. First, let's talk about audience for Automobility Forum, the thing that I have started so far weekly. I know that getting a huge audience within, what is it, 1 week or 2 weeks is 1 week that we have been in existence is tough. I am very happy scaling it into the 10s, 20s, and 30s. Okay, I'm very happy doing it on a small scale level. I fully understand the complexity of making sticky data, complexity of getting people on board. I have not gone about this with my eyes in the cloud or something like that, my head in the cloud. I just wanted a platform for virtual discussion of automotive on a particular day, and I think we started with this. Now, going back to your idea, the thought of the next one, so that is about automotive. I'm not worried about it. I wanted 10 people, 2 people. It's just bizarre, and I was honestly not ready with my PowerPoint. I don't think Alexander was too, so I have moved it to next week, and hopefully a bunch of people will sign up. We spoke about this in our morning meeting. Okay, so that is, and I want to spread it to SEMA. I know a bunch of people in specialty equipment mobility as a SEMA, not mobility, SEMA Manufacturers Association. If you can also spread it, let us see how it goes. I'm not very sure. I want to be at it, but keep it consistent starting next week on a weekly basis. I just want to, the idea of a Thursday luncheon, Thursday automotive and mobility thing was to get a bunch of people who are in cars and talk about cars. It's not a PowerPoint with with a one-way conversation. It's just, hey, we're all sitting at our tables or wherever on our couches or our beds during this weird COVID
Yeah,
thing.
I think the question is it, I mean, do people want that? I
Exactly.
know
And
you want it.
yeah, and if people don't, in a month, it'll be flat in my face and we cancel it.
I
I
know,
think,
but and this is maybe where jumping in is a problem. The issue is like I'm not committed to that. Like I want it to work. I
right.
don't want it to not work and actually put time and effort into it.
Exactly, exactly. And now that comes to your second question of creating sticky content. And that is where I think the Herd Sportscast, I'm huge into these. Dan Patrick's sports radio is very good at this. Okay. They're very good. You have to have, I love this idea of a power lunch because you create a daily cadence. You create in this power lunch, it's actionable plans on how to do something forward, whether it is in automotive industry, whether it is in general commercialization industry. I wake up every morning nowadays trying to see, if I was CEO, what are the action plans I would do, and doing a power lunch and having this sort of a discussion, and then creating this idea of a cadence daily slowly is a drug that you start getting into. I think might not be an hour, but half an hour or something like that. And having two or three people converse that, create a dialogue which everybody knows. You're going to talk through news for 5 minutes, you're going to talk through ideas, new techniques and ideas for 10 minutes, and then have something else for about 10 minutes or something like that. And this is how the half an hour is going to be. I think creating that cadence could get people in. And then, hey, they know that, hey, listen, guys, Thursday is my automotive forum. Come in and join us if you want. Same stuff, same
Yeah, but
format. Automotive.
I mean, so are you connecting these things or are you not?
I'm not yet. I'm not yet. I'm doing one thing at a
So,
time first.
so like, I mean, this is like, so if they're not connected, I don't know how you handle this cross promotion. Like,
Not yet. Matt, you're talking about the right thing. I'm doing one thing at a time, right? I'm trying to juggle two or three different things, and I'm trying to do one thing. Trying to put this on the event and getting the tech out of the way and stuff like that. Getting the, it's that's what I'm working on from my standpoint. While you're helping me with, being tremendously helpful with the tech.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I am. I have a Zoom account and I have a web page and to be honest, like I don't even know how many people visited that, or they seemed like they all went to the meetup. So I don't know if I am being like I'm not.
Yesterday they
I'm being
must.
a little bit helpful,
Yeah.
but
So now
I don't think it's like crazy.
let us just get this rolling, Matt. I think it won't be a daily kind of, you're not going to be able to flip a switch on one day and then suddenly see the thing explode, right? At least not from my, I do not know how to do that. If you know how to do that, that's great. I do not know how
I,
to do that, right? So I know how to grow it slowly and steadily by reaching out to my network and saying, hey, listen, tune into this. And I give it about a month, and if it works out, it works
I
out.
understand it. It's more. It's a question of, are you like, I think some of the stuff that we're doing is really cool
Mhm.
and really creative. We're gonna have a lot of shows. We're gonna have content on the network that's not gonna be automotive. In fact, you're the most business
Sure.
associated, you know, type thing that I'm even talking to right now. Everything else is a little more entertainment-y, but they're all in the business of driving
Traffic.
the, not traffic, driving the platform, like doing the cross promotion, not for their shows, but for everybody else, for everybody else, and trying to make this much more of a
Mm.
all boats float, and really understanding that if you went and put your content on YouTube, you're gonna have the same problem. If you went and did anything, like the same problem's gonna exist.
Mhm.
And really the only power that's going to exist is getting a large mass of people to say, hey, check out all this stuff we're doing, and pick and choose what you want. And it doesn't, like, I'm happy to continue like doing the once a week thing. I'm telling you more of a mentality of the direction that I'm headed. Because when it comes to time investment and kind of where I'm putting things, like that's where it's going to go. So I see this as like, I think what you're doing is cool. I think it's a really cool segment of the market. And I like having that more professional stuff. So I'm not, please don't take this as like, hey, Robbie, we gotta, you know what I mean? Like, don't don't take it like that. But I think it's important that I tell you, like, what I'm trying to build is community. And like, I want those other people to push people to you, but I also want you to push other people to them, not by broadcasting it, on the, not by broadcasting like that, by simply like it's more of the mentality of like, local Orange County entrepreneurs. We need to make it a little easier on ourselves by having a place that people even discover us. So my hope would be that if I can get 500 freaking people coming to the website, that some percentage of that is going to go over to the automotive forum.
So how do you tell me one or two things what I need to do to, you're a production engine. I understand you're leaning more towards the entertainment part of it, right? I do want to. I'm not sure who your other cohorts are. I see Million Cups.
Yep.
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking. When you present this, hey, listen, this will be a good platform for OC.
Sure.
Startups and stuff like that online to discuss something online. For startups, I've not sent you that yet because
that's okay.
This one kind of.
I know you got stuff going on, dude. This is not. I know.
Yeah.
That this is one of the pieces where maybe you're looking at Slack wrong, as more of like you're looking at it probably as more of a direct messaging service. And the way I'm thinking of it is really what you want to do is you want to get your audience to engage with each other, and you want to provide value to your audience when you're not even far before your weekly thing. You want them to be talking to each other and sharing documents and all that type of shit. Yes. And so that's where I see the Slack community having value, of being like, hey guys, create the Slack channel, like have discussions about mobility on there. And then literally within that feed, we can post a thing that says mobility forum starts in 15 minutes, make sure to join. And we using it as an automated marketing tool.
Right.
Where we can continuously market to the people that are part of that forum, that are having the discussions that are relevant to you, and tying that in where you don't have to post on LinkedIn, make sure people come to the thing, register. Like, dude, wouldn't it be easier just to text message all the people that are in your freaking group? Hey guys, starting in 15 minutes, this is going to be the topic.
Got it.
You know, like that's the mentality of like all these other systems, they work, it's fine. But you got to create a LinkedIn message. You got to go, like, you got to do all these freaking things versus pushing everybody to the place where it's easiest to do it. And you can just carry on a conversation and
right. Right.
So that's more the mentality that I'm having with other show people.
Who would I push to Slack?
Whoever you want to talk to about automotive shit. I don't know.
So right now
I'll push my dad to it and say, Dad, you need to sign up for the mobility forum.
Right. And I'm going to do that to everybody on at today's Strategic Vision. We had an 8:30 meeting, their daily corporate meeting, right? And I distributed the email to them, and they are going to do this.
So maybe part of this is, maybe I need to do, and this is maybe on me. This is actually really good. Like maybe what I'm understanding is actually I like doing a little bit of Slack training is probably something that would be helpful. Where I could, because really understand what you can do is when you invite people, it invites them to their default channels. So they're the default like messaging channels. So we can create a forum, and then you can say one of the defaults that I'm sending out to people is the mobility forum. So literally once they sign up, they're already part of it. And whenever you write a message, bing, they get a notification.
Interesting. I'm not a Slack expert, man.
No, and that's,
And so
I never thought about that, to be honest.
Zoom is, getting into the Zoom. I was a Hangout guy, and now we are Zoom, and and it's I am trying to, I'm at home here, but
no, and this
Slack
is,
expert.
I'm
So-
super, and I apologize if I like
No.
berated or whatever. I think it's a really good point. Like I haven't done a good job explaining
Right.
why the technology I've chosen is the technology and how it kind of all works and encompasses, and like how the mousetrap frankly works. The goal is to get people in the mousetrap, and all the value is in the mousetrap, and they can't leave.
Exactly.
They
Because
can't
now-
leave.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So because now I don't want to get the whole, already I told Strategic Vision, the guys in Strategic, 5 or 6 people already SMS'd me, right? We're messaging. And so I said, hey, the reason why I moved it is I didn't have enough signups, and I had Alexander talking about it. He has a 5 or 6, he has a conversation more than anything else. I have a 10-page deck. Now then they said, okay, where do I need to go? Blah, blah, blah. Can you put it on my getting them onto a Zoom kind of conference call itself is a
freaking pain in the butt.
40, these are my age people, if not older.
No, I totally understand.
Professionals, right? And they're working at Strategic Vision. They like the idea and they want to support me. And so they're kind of trying to figure it out. And suddenly now I'm going to say, hey, listen, go and download a Slack app or a Zoom. Each technology compounds itself, and then that becomes another swim lane that I need to cover. So I'm not very familiar.
No,
with
and I totally understand. I get it. Like I totally agree with you that, I mean, getting people to download Slack, yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be something they need to do. That said, all the news you read about is the growth of Zoom and Slack. Like,
Yeah.
so they're gonna do it. They may just do it later, right? It's one of the reasons why I didn't create like an OC Engine app. I was like, fuck that. Like, you know how hard that? Like, I don't want to get anybody to download that. That sounds like a total pain in the ass.
I know a person who's doing a lot of work with Slack, by the way. I know that she is doing some HR-based work on Slack, and she's a Slack expert. She keeps telling me about Slack. You're another guy who's telling me about Slack.
Ravi, from a marketing standpoint, the automation that you can do with it is incredible. I mean, literally, I publish an event on OC Engine. It automatically creates the Zoom meeting. That Zoom meeting goes into the Google Calendar. Slack then pulls out my Google Calendar, and in the right forum, it automatically 10 minutes beforehand says, coming soon, this event. So that event would populate into the mobility forum. Like literally that notification pops up on somebody's phone, they click it, they're in. That's it. And now you don't actually need to, like, I know my gut tells me the reason you want registration is for follow-up and stuff like that, right? Well, if you can get people on the Slack channel, you don't need to do any of that shit, because you can directly communicate with them at any point you want. Okay. And if they leave, guess what? They're not going to get the notification anymore for the meeting. So you can drive.
Got it. So how do we know how many people in the Strategic Vision? You started the conversation with this idea of how do we increase traffic, and I get it. I need to learn Slack, but in my mind, I'm focusing on generating traffic, and I am a professional network, and kind of a thing. So now my brain goes, okay, I have an automobile for. How many people other than me are on Slack in the automotive network, so that at least that might be a very good place to throw some things on it.
I think so. Maybe where I'm, maybe what I'm trying to figure out is, and you're helping me figure this out, by the way. Currently, I personally feel like the amount of work that I have to put in for what we're getting out isn't worth it.
Right.
what I'm trying to figure out is how do I align what you're trying to do with what I'm trying to do?
Right.
And growing the Slack channel, that for me, that's freaking fantastic because it means I can get spillover into these other channels that then drive other viewership to other shows. You probably don't see it like, look, you hopefully you see a little bit of a crack, but you probably don't see it quite where I see it. But like for me, if you can drive people to that channel, you can immediately engage them. And I think there's value of that to you. So that's maybe what I'm trying to do is just figure out, all right, how do we align a little bit better? I don't think it's not like super far off. I like I said, I like what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, Matt, absolutely.
It's more just figuring out, all right, how do I align the effort a little bit more?
We are trying to see how to move the ball and create a game plan towards that. And I'm perfectly aligned. You have a role, and you have a role, and I have a role, and we need to freaking move the ball forward, right? And let's figure it out. So that's where my brain goes. So now my brain is commercialization brain, right? How do we scale? I have a little platform. Let's just call it Automobility Forum, right? And
Good.
you're saying one of the key tools to promotion is this channel called Slack, right? If people, I was always thinking, okay, OC Engine, everybody who's coming to OC Engine will click on this Automotive Mobility Forum button. What you're saying is true, but not true. Everybody who's on Slack
is going to, that's right.
Is going
that's right.
to go
and that's,
so now
no, and that's the key.
Now what I'm thinking is, okay, in my brain, when you asked me about what were your steps to scale, going back, I keep going back to my basics. I have 4 or 5 steps, and it is this whole thing. That's how my brain is tuned, right? Let's go back to the basics. I have an Automobility Forum. Strategic vision, I got it. Next step was SEMA. I was going to look into SEMA. Hey, my first question now should be, instead of finding their mailing list, okay, well, instead of calling them and saying, hey, what's your mailing list? How much will it take to join? How do I get into SEMA so that I can then promote it, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I should say, hey, SEMA, do you guys have a Slack list or a Slack community? Is there a Slack SEMA community? If there's a Slack SEMA community, seed your message in there saying, hey, listen, go join OC Engine.
That's right.
And boom, 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 cascade, right?
That's right. That's right.
So my game plan is very simple. I have a few channels, man. I'm not a running quarterback. I look 1, look 2, look 3, look 4, right? Look 1, again, going back to SEMA. Look
and
2,
ideally you're finding, I would argue, ideally you're looking for the people that don't have a Slack channel. That would be like, oh, well, we've got one around. Well, the perfect situation is where they don't have one, but they're excited that you have one.
Right.
Kind of number 2 would be they have one and you can like leverage into it. And worst case scenario is they don't have one and they're not looking for one.
Yeah. In the automotive industry, I know how much of a Luddites we are. Seriously, we are still with dune buggy and buggy webs.
Oh yeah.
And that what we are facing.
Well, this is the type of thing where like I would totally seed my dad to this and be like, hey, do you guys have a Slack channel? Like, I know they don't.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, this is a place where stuff's going on. Like, have your people sign up for this. Correct. And it's really simple that you click invite and that's it. It's not a hard process, you know?
Absolutely. So getting them, that's my second step. But I want to find out every automotive, my little diagram of organization, dealers, channels, blah, 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 who are already on Slack. Okay. I want to identify those first, right? So now I go back to my lanes. Hey, Slack happens to be one of these nose tackles I have to come over, or nose tackles.
Oh, I get it. You're trying to cross-reference like the people that you could invite with the people that already have Slack to really get rid of. Now you have no friction. Yeah.
Saying, hey, let's identify all the automotive.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Okay, so then what happens is you're a nose tackle. Suddenly you say, hey, listen, I need to move okay, you're my nose tackle. You're saying, Ravi, this is a whole, I mean, you have 100 yards in front of you, man. Either find a wide receiver or find a channel, right? Yeah. And oh, by the way, there is the Slack channel, okay, that we have, which is really awesome, right? Yeah. So I know that I have 4 wide receivers 10 yards from, 15 yards from me. To get to them, now you're saying, Ravi, there's a Slack channel. Okay. So then I say, hey, great, Slack, SAE, SEMA, Orange County, Mazda, go through everybody who has Slack accounts. Right?
Right.
the guy who has a Slack account, boom. Okay. Then you say, hey, Matt, Slack account, go for it. Right. And that way, at least you're being a nose tackle and you've brought in Slack, right?
Right.
You're being a nose tackle, you've brought in OC Engine. You've been a nose tackle, you have identified Zoom, right? And I'm trying to pass the ball, right? So I'm open to these. Don't get me wrong. That's how my brain is a little bit 50-year-old program, right? Okay.
No, it's a good
my
point.
brain
But you gotta like, I'm not thinking about the fact that I gotta explain how this stuff works. I mean, it's a
that's
super
how,
good point.
so I know these things. So commercialization, I am fully with you. Creating a sticky thing, Ravi. If we don't have, and to me, stickiness is doing it again and again and again and again daily. Okay, right. So I love this idea. I can tell you, hey, listen, go to the Dan Patrick show or go to the Herd, and they do this every day. They have this 2-hour routine. We can do this in half an hour. You're great. I love talking to you. We both can partner up, whether it's
Yeah.
a power lunch or half an hour. That way people come to the Ravi and Matt channel. Okay. One day we talk about commercialization. I have, things like
Yeah.
that.
So
So two different
when you
things.
this is a very sticky vehicle.
Right.
Like it's encompassing. There's not a slipstream
Right.
around it. It's you're in because you want to talk to the other people that are in. And if
Right.
you're out, you're out. That's
Right.
it. It's a binary choice. You're
Exactly.
either in or you're out. You can't be like, oh, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's
Right.
it.
So,
Okay.
so Slack. And now let's go back. I need to find out who the guys are on Slack,
Yeah.
and I need to invest some time just to get myself familiarized with it,
And
and
here,
then come to you to do this. So if you
sure.
can,
And
stuff,
what I'm going to do is I'll make I was going to just call it mobility. Do you want a different?
Automotive and mobility. I want automotive also. Not everybody knows mobility, so let's call it automotive and mobility. Right? No, automobility.
Auto and mobility. I'll see if
Automobility.
I can do an
No,
ampersand or auto
automobility.
plus mobility. I'll play around with it.
No,
Um,
automobility. One word.
so I'll create that channel, and basically I'll make that a default channel. So
Yep,
when
yep.
people join, they're part of it, and
Right.
you just then need to invite people and say, hey, go to the automobility
Traction
channel.
Labs channel.
I'm sorry.
What if it is a Traction Labs channel with automobility being one of them, or should it be an automobility channel? I mean, I'm not sure.
Here's my argument. I would argue you don't have a big enough brand to do that right now. I would make it topic based. We can always change it. Like once the like, well, I can put it in the description, sponsored by Traction, like all that type of stuff. Once you've got brand equity, we can flip it simply.
Got it. Okay. All on board.
Okay.
All
Cool,
on
man.
board the Slack channel. I really love it.
This is good. I didn't see that. This is why I wanted, like,
you're awesome.
Now you're gonna go. I'll send you the link to this. You're gonna go back and look at it, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck were we talking about?"
I'm like a freak. I like this, and that's how I stupidly think. Right? I'm very methodical in my thought process, and I come back to the basics. If you take a look at my mission statement, it's not that I do not change, but I'm one of those guys who knows what I want to do, and I need to have the skills to make it happen rather
No,
than.
you're right, and I think I'm kind of like, I know the tool sets and kind of how to put the stuff together, and what I need to do is kind of communicate like, hey, this is what I think kind of these things look like. So I think I figured that out. Yeah.
Be the most tackle and say, hey, listen, I'm going to get you Zoom, this, and this.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my platform. How do I, and you can leverage it, and then give us some pay, give us, figure it. Yeah.
So now I would say if we go this route, it makes sense to put the Slack channel on your webpage, because now when you send that out, people can come right there. They can see the conversations. They can enter the conversations, and that when they enter, there's actually a button on the window that I would put on your page that they join right into your channel. So capturing people. You can invite people via Slack, or if people come and check out the webpage, they can join that way too. So there's a couple different ways to capture people into the mousetrap.
So the mousetrap. So now I like this idea of the mousetrap, right? I like this idea of tools that create that mousetrap, right? Another way my name is out there is through I'm paying Squarespace a bunch of money to host my web page. right? I'm paying Squarespace a bunch of money. I'm paying Meetup to promote this particular forum, okay, because that's a communication forum, and now it's on OC Engine, right?
Hmm.
My web page is what I do, right? But I'd love this Slack channel or whatever it is to be on my web page, because anybody who is coming to my web page goes and sees the Slack thing. So can I add Slack on a Square web
I
page?
can. I need to actually up the account, so that is something
Tell me
I
now,
mean,
tell me
I'd have
now.
to charge you for that. It's not much. I just have to. I would have to charge for it. But it's not much. It's
So that would allow me to do what? That would allow me to put your Slack channel on my web page.
correct.
Okay, okay. Perhaps I'll check out with Squarespace also if they have a Slack channel, and then just link it to that. Let us see how that.
Ooh, you're on Squarespace. WP.
Is there another space you want me to be on? I mean, that's also it's a
No, it
muscle.
just means it's written in Squarespace. I gotta
Oh, yeah.
see. It's written in the Squarespace language. I gotta I think I should be able to figure it out. I just gotta my all my stuff's done on WordPress, so I just gotta see how to do the cross coding
Yeah,
if I can. But I'll take a look at it and let you know.
yeah. I'll see whether they have anything to do that. So yeah, let me. Don't do anything. Don't do
Yeah,
anything.
I won't. I
Talk.
won't. I'll do some research, but I won't do anything.
Yeah, yeah. And if it is, Matt, another thing, man, if this is taking, you're helping me out. I started this by myself with Meetup, right? So you're helping me out, and I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. I don't want, and I know that I can be a burden on thought process,
No,
brainstorming.
I
So
I think you're gonna come, regardless of what platform you use, you're gonna come to these conclusions yourself. I think it's just having me as kind of the platform owner being able to communicate to you like what I can do and what I can't do. I think you're just going to get to the conclusion faster that, dude, this is too much work. We just need to get to the point where it's not work for anybody. And really what you can, like where your time spent is sending out one message. And then really this is where your time should be spent, preparing and presenting the content, not marketing the freaking
yeah,
content. Marketing should take 2 seconds.
correct.
It shouldn't take forever. So that, as long as I think, as long as you're kind of open-minded to that marketing should not take very long in a digital world, that's kind of where I'm trying to
Absolutely,
take things.
absolutely, absolutely. And if you think, take a look at my Traction Lab webpage. I know you have a question there, and it's not updated, and the webpage developer was a moron. So there are a bunch of things that I really don't like there. I don't mind taking my talents to OC Engine or your marketing, whatever it is. So think about what works with you, okay? And
I
I totally
will
mind it.
I will think about it. My suggestion would be to flip out of Squarespace, and you could get it. I mean, I'm not sure, what are you paying, do you know? 15 a month or something like that?
I think 19 a month or something like that. Yeah,
So for
something.
like $3 a month, we could run WordPress.
Good, absolutely. And that that's
And it
great.
would be, I mean,
Because
there's no
which
real.
want to learn another thing. Yeah, and I'm not a WordPress. It's not that I
Oh no,
can.
Robbie, I can recreate what you got in a
And I
couple
just want to
hours.
simplify it too. And I think you can clean it up also. So just let me know a bunch of cleanup, and I don't mind another platform to do
Okay,
that.
so maybe
And
what I can do,
and here's the deal. I think, hang on one sec, just completing that thought. Matt, you're good at marketing, man. Okay.
thank you.
You're really cool, man. I really love working with you because you have manufacturing. Now you're getting into marketing, and I like interacting with you. I'd love to have somebody who does my marketing. Charge me X number of dollars a month and just make sure all these channels are done. You then don't have to. You are my nose tackle. Then you say, hey, Ravi, you figure out, I'll create the lanes for you to throw in. You make sure
Okay.
you know what you're throwing, right? And that
Okay.
way, I am perfectly open with it. Okay, my budget is not huge, but if I
I
add
get
up
it. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to
all
be.
these things, I can just say, hey, go to Matt Space, right? And do that. It is a professional network. I just want to make sure my web page is there, and I'd rather have it.
Yeah, I got it.
That.
Okay.
So
So let me do this. I'll just put a couple of notes together and send you out kind of what we talked about, and I'll let me do a little bit of research on a
Sure.
couple of the costs and stuff associated with the stuff. But
Sure. Excellent.
okay, cool.
Awesome, man. Matt,
Thanks,
always
man.
thank you. Really, thank you for helping me out. You're a great thought partner on this, man. And
No, this is fun.
so it's really good. I just have Paul Halterman from the Strategic Vision in Detroit signing up for this. He was asking me all sorts of questions, and I'm bringing up real, very good, rich topics that I'm driving people to think about, right? And I'm trying to see how. I think I would love to have this as a CEO. I love the word power lunch, right? CEO power lunch, where they think
I
about,
wish you'd call it Power Lunch and then just tag on your automotive topic,
let's
because
call
I
it.
think that
Let's
because
call it
power,
power
it's
lunch.
like already
Yeah,
automotive.
yeah, let's call it power lunch. And then automotive and mobility are two different things, and we can do that on 2 different days. I absolutely.
No, I mean
Let's
just
talk about
call the automotive thing Power Lunch and then put the title.
That's what I've done. Take a look at where are you talking about now? Now let's go. Now you're going to confuse me. Go back to my channels here.
I'll show you what I'll show you what I think. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I won't change. I'm not going to change anything before I ask you.
No. You change your OC Engine page, man. Hey, OC Engine page, Mr. Marketer, you're everything. Okay, you own it. I have no problem.
Yeah, have you gone to OC Engine, by the way? You are
Yes, I did. OC Engine.
no, like recently, like today.
OC, not today. No.
Go today and then click on well, your broadcast, what we're doing right now is up there. The link's not active, but if you go to click on broadcast schedule,
Yeah,
and then I've got you as a featured channel.
One sec. Let me make sure. I'll share my screen of where I'm going. That way, desktop. Share. And you're there. You can see the whole thing here.
Yeah, click broadcast schedule.
Hey, Matt, we need to make this ask the thing a little smaller or more subtle. Okay, it just.
I think I'm gonna get rid of it.
It's just goes, or put a question mark here. Put a quote here.
Yeah.
Something, just put a bubble there. I think having that is good, but when it's not right now, it's just occupying it, and on the phone, it really occupies a big part of it.
No, I understand.
So this is where you want me to go, right?
No, click on up at the top, broadcast schedule. Yeah, click on that. Then I got you.
Making clients.
If you look at, oh man, why isn't your? If you look on the left there, Traction Labs. Yeah, click on that. I just pulled some off your website. I mean, we can change any of this stuff, but so that's the page right now. Yeah, I see that thing popping up again. I'll fix that.
Sorry, I don't mean to missing it. Absolutely. So this is where, hang on one sec. Actually, I like your OC Engine bubble button there. Okay. I would move this orange thing right to that so that they ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The chat button.
Sure.
I would, anyway, that's HMI. That's I don't want to get into HMI. when I get here, right, this is where I.
Yeah, so as soon, man, that the thing is annoying as shit. So this page actually, like, I need to get more content because otherwise this actually, I want it to be the broadcast schedule. So the front page, I want to get rid of this news because it's not really what we're doing. So I'm gonna kill this and just make the broadcast schedule first page. So click on broadcast schedule again, and that'll basically be the home page. And then you'll see on the left.
Right. I see where you're going. I see.
So then So then on the left there'll be these featured channels. I don't know why that featured channel isn't showing as that green color, but whatever. There's some, I gotta clear the cache or something on my site.
So here's the deal, right? I think you want people, the way you have got this laid out, okay? I do Marketing Pros 101 is another place that I always go. Marketing Pros is a USC marketing professor who does this, right? people's eyes apparently go to the left-hand side immediately, right?
Right.
I
And that's
have
where I'm,
every time I've been doing this, instead of going to the top, the button on broadcast schedule or channels, I go and try to click here, right? Now you're saying, hey, listen, go to broadcast schedule,
no. So
and
what I'm
then go
saying,
click here.
no. So what I'm suggesting is right now, don't click anything. Stop. Go back. Go back
Okay,
to where you were at. Go back to where you were at.
broadcast schedule.
Yes. What I'm suggesting is that this is the homepage. This is ocengine.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Not the other page. I'm going to kill it. It's not a news site. It's a broadcast site. It's local YouTube basically, but more like a cable network where there's only select channels. But what it is broadcast. The news thing, that's something I was doing in the past, and I just, I'm working on getting content up, so there's not a ton, but that's the direction I'm moving. So I'm going to kill the startup news, and this will be what pops up when you go to ocengine.com.
Right. I like this. I like
Okay.
this. So then, is there any way you can just align if you have so broadcasts and channels, right? On 1 million cups, if you just align all their broadcasts coming up horizontally, and then on mine, all my broadcasts coming up horizontally, then you're talking to me as, listen, now I can see what Matt is doing. He wants all these channels, and he wants all these channels to help him with content or
Yeah,
generate
so
channels.
I'll look into a couple of different graphical elements. The thought process here is this page is more of like a calendar of what's upcoming. Because this isn't right now, there are two networks. End of next week, there'll be 6 channels.
Right.
So like,
yeah, and so
I'm
I would
trying to put
show one
featured
channel.
channels. Featured channels is more of the, if you click into Traction Labs, now it's just going to show the Traction Labs broadcasts versus the calendar of events. I'll play around with graphical elements to try. I understand what you're saying. I'll play around with it.
Because it's how YouTube channel works on YouTube TV, right? This is YouTube TV has channels. So now featured channels, you could just say channels, and now you can tell me, hey, Ravi, you're one of them. This area, this real estate costs you, this horizontal bar of real estate eventually is going to cost you X amount. You come there all the time. Now I can say, hey, listen, that becomes my channel page. I click on, and it just becomes a horizontal bar.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I'll play around. I'll play around with graphics.
Okay, that way I can just very.
But you like this as far as kind of where it's shoving you. You like
love
this more than the other one because that's where I'm planning on going.
The only thing is, I would just make them the same horizontal bar lengthwise, and just add all the channels in that row instead of having me go to the next one or sort through this, right? So, and then you can sell me each of these real estate. Now you're selling me a bar of real estate, of content, right? So, anyway, that's just my UI recommendation.
So you would flip it. You would make, oh, that's interesting. So you're suggesting that, can you go,
Share, I'll share it. Again.
You would flip it and make that left bar upcoming and actually then the main section be channels.
No?
No?
No, hang on 1 sec. Let me share my desktop. Okay.
So what would you put there?
On the featured channel?
Yeah.
I would keep it exactly what it is.
So, but then in the upcoming broadcast, it would be broadcasts for those featured channels?
For those featured channels, straight across.
So that to me seems really redundant. And really, I want a section, I want something where somebody can come on and just see, hey, what's coming up next? And it just is what's coming up next from all the broadcasts. Because right now you're going to be on once a week. Like, so.
That's fine, right? But what happens is, I know what my channels are. You might have a bar, the way you're looking for the way, so you're looking at a screen, right? And the way people right now, you're looking at yourself as a broadcast channel. Okay. The context of yours is not a web page, it's a broadcast channel. It's not a search page, it's a broadcast channel. Minute you are looking at yourself as a broadcast channel, people are looking at themselves as channels on the left-hand side and the corresponding content which flows from those channels. Okay. And if in that, if you want on those featured channels, create a little horizontal bar on top or create a separate section on top that says today's broadcast and just have separate buttons for it. But it does not line up. This has to line up with something. This has to line up with something. Okay. I should not have to go down here and have another lineup. I think you can create one page, one TV guide, a broad OC Engine broadcast guide page with everything going on now and your featured channels and their upcoming broadcasts.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
That way you also, from a business standpoint, you can then go and say, hey, listen, guys, I have 30 slots, right? You can go to 30 different people and say, hey, listen, give me all your channel, give me all your content. It'll line up exactly with the box of this size. And, you know,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
right. So sorry, lecture
No,
time.
it's okay.
Yeah,
It's good feedback.
I think people, when you're looking at a screen and you're interacting with it, are automatically, that's the reason why you're
Sure.
looking at that TV guide kind of a thing.
No, it's good feedback.
UI basics. Okay, cool. Cool.
All right.
Hey, bud, no
Cool.
stack. Tell me, Slack is my this thing. Try to figure that out. Okay, and then let us see how you need to.
Yeah, just look on the left. There'll be a under the people. There'll be invite, and literally you can put in there and you just throw email addresses, and it handles everything else. And I'll make a forum that's specific for you, so that when they do get invited, they're already invited to it. You don't need to do anything other than throw in email addresses.
Perfect.
Cool.
Just
All right.
it'll take me. I'm a little slow at that, so it'll take me a couple of trial runs to do that. And once I'm in it, and once I'm in the rhythm, it's done. Okay.
Sure.
So just tell me what to do. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Matt.
Take care.
Good day. Take care. Bye.